Hello, this is Jimmy Mitchell, and we're back with another episode of the Libertarian Uncensored podcast. Let's get right into it. First, we have major win for minor parties and independents in Texas for ballot access by LP Texas official, and that's a post from competitivedemocracy.org, and it says federal court enjoins enforcement of Texas's ballot access procedures for indies and minor parties. I think that's good. I would agree that's good news. It's always nice to see the smaller parties stand up against the bigger parties and try and take them down. Yeah, but I don't think it's too likely currently, but we can always try our best. All right. Then we have what progressive libertarians can learn from observing how QAnon spread from Chi-Town 20, and that's a post to the YouTube video from what's their name? Card posting. And I personally don't really care about QAnon. I think QAnon's kind of overblown to make the right look bad. Some other stuff's overblown to make the left look bad. Everyone's into all the conspiracies these days, I guess. I think QAnon, they're it's might be a false flag and to distract from the real issues, but we'll see how it plays out and how people are falling for it, and yeah. Then we have people singing in the International in the streets of Xi'an, China, from Chi-Town 20, and that's from the yeah. I think that's good. China is a very authoritarian state, and it's good that they're standing up against it, I guess. But it is a bit yeah. It is a bit communist, yeah. You have to remember that Chi-Town's libertarian heroes are probably like Mark, Stalin, and Mao. I'll write that down. Now, word content. Then we have Colorado can't force a graphic designer to create same-sex wedding websites. Supreme Court rules from Reason.com, and that is I think that's good news personally. I think everyone should have freedom of association, and that is something that I would support. I think people should be able to deny service to anyone for any reason. I think ideological grounds is definitely something that you should be able to deny service for, and if you don't like it, you're free just not to patronize it. Then we have, using the Supreme Court's logic, an atheist business should be able to refuse to serve Christian groups, from APnews.com by International Over One. And I would agree with that very much. I would agree with that 100%. I think anyone should be able to deny service to anyone who they feel like, and I think that is the crux of freedom of association. Then we have the Canadian battle over mandatory pride celebrations from National Post, and I posted that. And I said, this is probably my biggest problem with the LGBTQ community today, is feeling almost mandated to participate in pride events. I don't think that is the correct way. We shouldn't be forcing our moral values onto other people, with the exception of NAP violations. And you increasingly see that it's forced to they're increasingly saying, oh, you have to participate in the schools. That's what the BC Education Minister was saying up in Canada, the British Columbia Education Minister. And now, I personally don't think you should. But right now, people are clearly pushing it in institutions such as schools, which I don't think that's the correct way, especially if not everyone is okay if it is shown in the video. Then we have Real Hero of Democracy, isn't he, from LP National on Twitter, and I posted that. I said, If you justify what you view as good authoritarianism or war authoritarianism, you're not libertarian, IMO. And the list was shut down dissident Ukrainian media, arrested his rival's party's opposition leader, dissolved rival political parties, outlawed branches of the Orthodox Church, expanded conscription, and nationalized Ukrainian media. And I think those are all a step too far. And I think, I think Zelensky probably does have the high ground in comparison to Putin, but I think Abraham Lincoln probably had the moral high ground in comparison to Jefferson Davis, and I'd justify his authoritarianism either, I would say. Then we have mods are censoring articles they don't like from Ruin My Circle Jerk. And that was an article of theirs about, they think was censored. I said, it might have just got caught up in the spam filter. I don't think this one was malicious, but I don't know. Then we have Reddit and Twitter both dying due to shitty business decisions. We might live in the best timeline. I posted that, and that was a tweet from Elon Musk. To address some extreme levels of data scrapping and system manipulation, we've approved the following numbering limits. Verified accounts are limited to reading 6,000 posts per day, unverified accounts to 600 posts a day, and new unverified accounts to 300 posts a day. I wonder how temporary it will end up being. I forgot about the Facebook's metaverse filings. Will we actually be seeing society start to move away from social media? I think this is good. Social media, especially the bird and the alien that are being Reddit and Twitter, are one of the biggest sources of toxicity, especially political toxicity there is today. Then we have a tweet from Dave Smith. My job is to make libertarians a little bit less autistic and make normies a little bit more autistic. Let's all meet in the shallow end of the spectrum. And I said, I disagree. Deep end or bust. Then we have the truth comes out. The real reason Twitter sucks, not paying their bill. And that's a tweet from Film the Police LA. The truth comes out. Twitter's cloud contract with Google ran out. It seems Twitter was unable to move its infrastructure off of Google fast enough. Today's outages are the end result. Elon is lying when he claims this was brought on by data scrapping. I do think they might have, I don't know, I don't really know Twitter's finances. I probably, Elon has shown that he really can't run Twitter too well. I like the guy, but not because he's a billionaire, because he's also very autistic like me. But, he has shown that he really can't run Twitter too well, and I think that's important to remember as to why he might not have lied about it. Then we have affirmative action divided Asian Americans and other people of color. Here's how. And I would agree with that. That was a post from NPR by Patam 13. This is some people do benefit from alternative action, and that is something that's important to remember. But sometimes they're on the wrong side of. Sometimes race does play a factor into it. I would agree there. Then we have. It turns out the Supreme Court ruling is already backfiring, and that's from International Silver One, and that's a post outside a store. It says, since the Supreme Court had ruled that businesses can discriminate, no sales to Trump supporters. We only sell, and then whenever sign says we only sell to churches that fly a pride flag. I personally would disagree with that. I think you should serve everyone regardless of ideological beliefs. But as I said earlier, I don't think this should be illegal. I think this should be 100% legal. I think people should support freedom of association, and that is something that I think we should be celebrating, the freedom of association. Then we have America is on Easy Mode by Brain for Breakfast. That's a video from a few years ago. I posted that. I said, the video is from a while ago, 2016. The guy who made it has since passed on, but the point still stands. The sad truth is that I don't think we'll be lucky enough to see the U.S. collapse in our lifetime, despite what all the social media hype may have you believe. The U.S. just has too many things going for it. And, I don't really want a violent collapse, but, I just don't think they care for the corrupt authoritarian grifters who make up the elite, especially when it comes to government, and I sadly don't think the system is at all reformable. The thing is, I don't want a violent collapse, but maybe a more peaceful collapse, I don't really know. I just don't think we'll ever see the system reform, and that's the sad, sad truth. The new Michigan hate crime bill is ripe for abuse from the Washington Examiner, and I posted that. I said, I said, a quote from the article is, Coward Fervor said that its vagueness invites a tremendous amount of mischief, and added that that's the free speech fire, 24 years of free speech on campus show that overbroad and vague anti-discrimination and anti-harassment speech codes will almost invariably be misused. I said that is definitely the correct take. If the government can arrest you for intimidating, they will manage to stretch the definition of the word as much as possible. And then Frosty Slaughter replied, so we can't do anything because bad actors might cause harm we didn't intend. I mean, look at how vague the 2A is, might as well get rid of it. I said, to some extent I would agree. The 2A isn't what gives people the right to bear arms, the US government thinks it does. People have a natural right to self-defense, and that's ultimately the biggest defense against government overreach for authoritarian policies like these. And we have the lesser of two evils, unraveling the flawed logic of lesser of two evils and reevaluating the purpose of political parties from Slayer 911. And that's a self-post. I would agree. The thing is that the lesser of two evils is what people are going to believe, and despite that, it not really working as it's shown. And I think we need to get rid of that notion. But I sadly don't think that'll be in our lifetime. Maybe in the future. We'll see what happens. Elon Musk thinks only people with children should be allowed to vote. And that's from Ninja Lover, and that's a tweet from Nina Turner. And I said, everyone only wants those who are like themselves these days to vote, it seems. I'm sure Nina Turner wouldn't be an exception either. That's the thing, is that, that is it is an authoritarian premise. I personally don't think anyone should be voting, except if everyone in the democracy agrees to it, and that's not really possible. So I think the thing is we should decentralize the government, stop having this one size fits all democracy, and just let people have their own miniature democracies instead of ever having all these people just vote and just the same things happening over and over again when it comes to government. Which just this one size fits all government's not working. I think that's why we shouldn't have anyone voting. Unlike Elon, who thinks most people say, "Oh, I want people voting, but only those who agree with me." No, we shouldn't have anyone voting. We should have a decentralized society where everyone where forced collectivism is no longer the law of the land. Google removes links to Canadian publishers from Google News, and that is from Frosty Slawman. And then I think something to do with a new Canadian bill that was passed. They can't be Bill C-18. Yeah, I'll talk more about that later. But it's interesting how the government of Canada just thinks it can regulate the internet all at once, and no one will care for it. The U.S. government does that too, but at least they try and keep it under wraps with stuff like CISA and the Twitter files and the DHS and the Ministry of the Disinformation Governance Board. They have all that. Sure, at least they try and keep it under wraps currently. But yeah, Canada is even further than that, so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully they'll get what's coming to them. You can't, then I posted a self-post. You can't get caught off on what other people think of you, and I posted that. It's lesson in misery. People can be jerks who always want to be circles and reach through constantly. Don't give a shit what they think about you, and be willing to stand up for what you believe in. And of course, Reddit is definitely a hard place to be. Reddit is can't tolerate sin at all, so that's probably the answer why it's why you just got to think for yourself. People are mean. People will try and shame you. People will use all the bullying tactics they have to get you. But you gotta stand up for yourself and say, no, I'm standing up for my beliefs. And you can have your beliefs and you can bully me all you want, but I'm standing up for my beliefs. Then we have Trudeau passes no law passes targeting social media from J.J. McCall on YouTube, and I posted that, and I said, for as much problems I have with the U.S. government, I'm very grateful that at least it isn't at Trudeau levels of open authoritarianism yet. And then this one guy, Captain Obvious, who says, yeah, unfortunately the U.S. government will get trapped in a way that most Americans will blindly accept it when it happens. And I said, yeah, that's generally how government works, sadly, so that's the sad truth is, people will like authoritarianism if it's marketed in the right way, and sadly the government is very good at marketing authoritarianism. That's why we gotta disobey the government peacefully and stand up and say, no, we won't obey you. If you want to arrest us, fine, you can arrest us, you can throw us in jail, but we need to stand up against you um, and do what we think's right, and you're not going to bully us through the enforcement of the law. As I said, the law isn't what actually matters, it's the enforcement of it that matters, and that's why I really don't care too much for the police, because they enforce the law. Then we have new psychology research indicates that lower socioeconomic status is linked to negative meta perceptions from Ruin My Circles work, and that's linked to SciPost. And I would agree with that. Lower, negative perceptions. The more lower your socioeconomic status is, the more negative your perception of life is probably going to be. I would agree there. And then we have legacy media to receive $329 million per year under Bill C-18 from Western Standard News by Frosty Slawman. And I agree that's definitely too much. Canada's government is increasingly saying it wants to nationalize all news coverage, and there's nothing you can do about it. We control the news. We'll control what you think. It's like 1984. It's Big Brother. They'll tell you what to think, and you'll obey or else. And that's not something that I like. I think we need to stand up against the government, stand up against the massive media corporations, stand up with it. They're obviously colluding these days, and think for ourselves. Then we have firm majority of Americans back SCOTUS on affirmative action decision poll from Ruin My Circles work, and I think that's from what's that? That's from a post from article from NY Post, and I personally don't think it's as for a majority as NY Post is setting up. I definitely do think it is a majority, and that's important to remember. People don't like racial discrimination, even if it's used for good reasons, despite what a lot of people on the left might say. Then we have now playing Operation Troll MC. This is from Slayer 901. MC, of course, being the Mises Caucus. I would say, of course, if you want to troll people, I think you should be able to troll people. I like to troll people. I think trolling people is one of the funnest things we can do in politics today, so that's something I like to do. Of course, the post offer also just recently blocked me for trolling too much, so that goes to show you that a lot of people can dish it out, but they can't take it. And I think with that, we're going to wrap it up, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.